I was coming out to Armenia to do more of a travel story, really, and I was alerted by something called the Professional Elephant Network, which is a global collection of world experts in elephant welfare and conservation. And they said to us, could you go and have a look at Bunka? Because we've had some reports that he's a solo elephant, which is always bad. They're herd elephants, and being alone is bad. And it's a fairly small enclosure, and there's not a lot for him to do. So I went and had a look, and it broke my heart. I felt very sorry for him. He's a big growing boy, and he should be having a more active life. We launched the campaign Free Bunka last year. Captive elephants live a much shorter life than wild elephants. So he could live to 50, 60 years old. He's now 16, we think. In a zoo, it could be a lot less. We worry about his physical condition and his mental deterioration. That's why we're proposing to try to speak with the authorities here, to consider showing great compassion and take him to a sanctuary. And we have some ideas of sanctuaries in Southeast Asia. One has agreed to take him, and they would take him to a beautiful tropical area of a large field, a large forest, and there'd be water, mud holes, and other elephants, and he could live a normal elephant life. Yeah. You imagine you growing up as a child, and suddenly you're taken away from your mother, and you've got to work out, what do I do in life now? How do you learn? And in his case, he'd be taught by his mother some of the skills of survival. And then when he left the herd, he'd join with other young males, and they would show him how to be a male elephant, how you do that in the wild, and he hasn't had that. There's African and Asian are the two main species. African elephants live a bit longer. He's Asian. They can live, females and males can live around 50, 60, 70 years possibly. But often in captivity they die a lot younger. I read a report, and every report is different. I read a report from one zoo group in Europe saying that on average Asian elephants were living to 19 years old, whereas in the wild they were living 50 years plus. And I'm not saying that's going to happen to Bunka. I mean, he could live a long time, but let's say he does live 50, 60 years old. Walking around here for the next 30, 40 years, it's not good.
Wildlife in a captive environment, especially with elephants, and as they are so highly social and intelligent animals, is of concern.
Մենք ասել ենք, որ այգին պատրաստ է համագործակցության, մենք թաքցնելու որևէ բան չունենք, պատրաստ ենք ցանկացած ֆորմատով համագործակցության, ինչպես ինֆորմացիոն, այնպես էլ իրենց տրամադրվելիք հնարավորությունների առումով, որպեսզի իրանք իրականացնեն իրենց մոնիթորինգը։
I think Volva was a classic case of what solitary confinement and captivity does to an elephant's brain. This is one of the most intelligent creatures on the planet. They have a highly developed intelligent brain, and they're very social animals. When you give them nothing to do, and he just walks around his enclosure and walks around his barn and does very, very little. And when you give them very little to do and no friends to be with, it can affect their mentality. And I think in Volva's case, it just broke. He snapped.